Due to a god's mistake, a man dies and is reborn into another world. And so he is reborn as a black-haired man, Kelvin. Waking up in the new world, he is lost and confused, but a feminine voice calls out to him explaining everything that happened, as well as the reason he has no memories. She introduces herself as Melfina, the goddess of reincarnation. As it turns out, Kelvin is now a top-ranked summoner. She leads him to the nearest town where Kelvin decides to sign up with the Adventurers Guild. At the Adventurers Guild, he meets Ange, one of the guild's receptionists, and she signs him up as the lowest adventurer rank. Following Melfina's advice, Kelvin does not declare that he is a summoner, as that is an extremely rare and sought-after class, so he would likely be dragged into the country's politics. Instead, he pretends to be only a green mage. Kelvin is eager to head out on a quest, so Melfina suggests he takes one to hunt some slimes, as that will allow him to make his first contract with a monster. Upon finding the slimes in question, he weakens one a bit before forcing it into a contract. The slime submits and becomes his first proper servant, meaning a servant he can actually summon. Kelvin gives the slime a new name, Clotho, and summons it to his side. Together, they go hunting after the remaining slimes to finish his quest. Taking out the slimes proves to be a walk in the park. Surprised at Clotho's strength, Kelvin learns that him being the highest rank of summoner makes every servant under his contract much stronger. After claiming the reward for the successfully completed quest from the guild, Kelvin heads towards the inn suggested to him by Ange. On the way there, he runs into a slaver trying to sell a beautiful blonde half-elf. Kelvin notices that she appears to be very sad, but not having much money, he decides to move on. At the inn, he meets the owner Claire, who is happy to have him stay at her place. While it is cozy, Kelvin is upset that there is no bath available for him. It is there that he promises to himself that he will get a luxurious house with a bath one day. Kelvin is quickly ranking up in the Adventurers Guild, making him stand out among the rest since he is not even in a party with anyone. While picking up another quest, he meets a fellow adventurer, Cashel. Cashel is not very liked by other adventurers, but they keep their mouths shut, knowing that he is the strongest one around. He insists on inviting Kelvin into his party, but Kelvin refuses as he does not want his identity as a summoner to be revealed. So instead of joining him on the quest to take down a black ghost knight, Kelvin has the two of them compete on who will get it first. Kelvin is able to use his skill and analyze Cashel's stats, noticing that he is about as strong as Clotho, but what worries him the most is the title of murderer, which Cashel carries. Figuring that Cashel wants to set a trap for him, Kelvin chooses to deliberately walk into it and confront him before fighting the knight. While Cashel gathers his goons, Kelvin goes on ahead and takes out all the monsters on the way to the knight. Setting the stage for the battle, Kelvin appears before them and reveals that he is aware of their plan. Things quickly escalate and the fight begins. Realizing that Kelvin is too strong, one of the goons tries to run away, but his escape is blocked by Clotho. Clotho takes out the two goons and blocks the escape path, and Kelvin duels against Cashel, beating him with ease. Unsatisfied with the challenge, Kelvin moves on to the main event, namely the Black Ghost Knight. Upon meeting the monster, he is surprised to learn that the monster can speak and appears to be very powerful. Kelvin expresses his desire to make the knight his servant, and after a lengthy conversation, the knight declares that he will enter a contract with him only after he proves himself to be worthy of serving, also introducing himself as Gerard. Both of them are eager to see what the other can do, and thus their fight begins. Even though Kelvin has Clotho fighting with him, Gerard is the strongest opponent he has faced since his reincarnation. The fight is tough and it pushes Kelvin and Clotho to the brink, but they are able to overcome Gerard and bring him down, thus forming a contract with him. Returning to the guild, Kelvin is showered with praise and admiration for not only clearing such a dangerous quest, but also capturing Cashel and the two wanted bandits who work for him, revealing how Cashel was attacking new adventurers behind the scenes. In light of his achievement, Kelvin is summoned to meet the guild master, Leo. As it turns out, Leo is quite the perceptive and experienced old man, quickly realizing that Kelvin must be from another world. Possessing the same skill as Kelvin, the two of them are able to quickly analyze each other. Kelvin notices that his concealment skill is not up to par with Leo's analysis, so the old man is now aware of the fact that Kelvin is a summoner. In light of that, Leo wants Kelvin to continue working with him and take out dangerous monsters that appear, while the heroes focus on the Demon King. If he does so, he will make sure his identity as a summoner remains a secret, and he is free from any political intrigue. Kelvin agrees and is instantly promoted to a rank B adventurer. Returning back to his inn room, Kelvin learns more about the heroes that got summoned, as it was none other but Melfina who brought them into this world. Deciding to strengthen his party even further, Kelvin heads out to the slaver he saw before to purchase a slave of his own. There he sees the same blonde half-elf again. It turns out the slaver is having a hard time selling her, as she has a curse placed upon her that sets anyone who touches her on fire. Despite of that, Kelvin uses all of the money he earned to buy her. She reveals to him that her name is Ephil and that she has been a slave for as long as she can remember, lacking any memories of her parents or the reason why she is cursed. Kelvin consoles her and uses his magic to break her curse. He promises she will no longer have to suffer the way she did until now, causing her to break down and shed tears of happiness. Returning to the inn, Claire doubts Kelvin's intentions when he brings back a half-naked slave girl with him. But upon seeing that the girl is happy, she takes her away and gets her all dressed up into a maid uniform. Ephil promises to always stay by Kelvin's side and work harder for him. Once they are in the privacy of their room, Kelvin introduces Gerard and Clotha to her, revealing that he is a summoner and telling her about Melfina. A month has passed and the four of them have been completing quests for the guild, growing a lot stronger in the process. Ephil has become an amazing archer who also uses red magic. Returning back from a successful quest, Ainge manages to set up a date for the three of them. The next day, Kelvin, Ainge, and Ephil meet up for the date, and while they are having a lovely time, a rude and entitled person escorted by 2 guards shows up, putting an end to their fun. He introduces himself as a prince from Trison, declaring that he wants Ephil for himself, but Kelvin will take none of that, and he quickly takes out the guards before making the prince grovel in front of him. Questioning him on his business here, Kelvin learns that the prince came to recruit a powerful adventurer that showed up here. Explaining that he is probably that adventurer, Kelvin declares he has no interest in joining him. The next day, Melfina returns from her short trip to deliver another prophecy for the heroes. Upon her return, she is upset that the heroes are nowhere near as strong as she hoped they would be, making her doubt that they can achieve their objective. Just as they are discussing that, Kelvin gets summoned to the guild. Apparently, a sealed demon has been found in a cave nearby, so Leo wants Kelvin to check it out and eliminate the threat. Seeing that Kelvin has second thoughts about going to such a dangerous venture, Leo pressures him with the fact that he beat up a prince in his town the other day. To make up for the mess, Kelvin heads out with his party to take care of the demon threat. Entering the cavern, they find that all of the monsters are missing, which makes them feel uneasy. Once they step into the demon's chamber, the reason why they are missing becomes clear, as their remains are scattered all over the place. Among the remains, they find a beautiful red-haired demon girl who appears to be sealed. In addition to her, there is another demon present who greets them and introduces himself as the Archman Victor. Victor traps them inside of the chamber with him, revealing that the demon girl is the previous demon king's daughter, Sarah. He wants to devour humans so he could gain their power. That will allow him to break the seal placed on Sarah, which can only be broken by a human. Once the seal is broken, he will devour her as well, gaining enough strength to become the new demon king. In light of his overwhelming power, Kelvin gets very excited to fight him. Victor is amused by Kelvin's eagerness to fight him, so to test him, he revives a bunch of monster skeletons. The skeletons prove to be no match for Kelvin and his party, so Victor decides to join in himself. The demon's power is not something to take lightly, and combined with his combat experience, he gives Kelvin a hard time. It takes everything from Kelvin's group to repel Victor's attacks, and with combined efforts, they are able to overpower him. Just as he is about to dodge the finishing blow, Victor notices that it will hit Sarah if he does so. Choosing to protect her, he takes the fatal hit. Realizing that Victor saved Sarah, Kelvin reasons that he never wanted to devour her in the first place, demanding from him an explanation. Victor reveals that he was put in charge of watching over her since she was a little girl, when she was confined for her own protection. Once the Demon King was about to be defeated, he ordered him to flee with Sarah and keep her hidden and safe until things calmed down. In order to make sure that would be easy, the Demon King put her under the seal, which humans could remove once the world has entered a new era of peace. In that era, she would be able to rise to power and become the next Demon King. But Victor's plan failed, so now with his dying breath, he asks of Kelvin to take her with him. Kelvin takes pity on Sarah and accepts Victor's last request. After lifting the seal on her, Kelvin has her become his servant, and they use a magic item to keep her demonic form concealed from others. Sarah is nervous about going to new places as she never left her mansion as a child, but Kelvin and his party are there for her, and they have a fun time showing her around town. Once Kelvin returns to the guild, he is promoted to rank A, and everyone celebrates his success as an adventurer. After the last battle, they were in dire need of new gear, so Kelvin and Ephil made some new fantastic gear for everyone. In order to show Sarah the world, they venture to the town of Toraj. Melfina is not with them for this journey as she realized that she cannot be summoned because she is a goddess. So she left to prepare an avatar to use instead, which Kelvin will be able to summon. Suddenly, Kelvin and his group get ambushed by some bandits. Upon seeing how weak they are, Kelvin has Sarah take care of them, warning her to hold back so she does not end up killing them. She pummels them into submission with ease, and they deliver them to the guards on their way into town, learning about the bandit leader along the way. Toraj is a port town, and Sarah is amazed by seeing the ocean for the first time in her life. After taking in the sights, they meet the local Adventurers Guild master, Mist. She's a friend of Leo's and has already heard all about Kelvin from him. Mist reveals that the town is plagued by a group of bandits, and the ones that attacked them were a part of it. A strong adventurer from Trison, Kristoff, originally went to take care of the bandits, but instead of doing that, he took over and began conducting slave trade. The town guards cannot act without proof because it would cause an international incident, and while pondering what to do about the situation, Kelvin senses the 4 heroes enter Toraj. Mist manipulates the heroes to go take care of the bandits, while Kelvin and his group go ahead to infiltrate the bandits' hideout. Hey, thank you for staying all the way till the end. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. It takes only a second, but it means everything to us. Have a great day and see you in the next video.